Hello, everybody. It's been quite a while since I've actually talked on one of my videos. Been too busy uploading guides and no damage boss fights and so and so and so. I started doing the purgatories because they're kind of meaningless. I didn't want to do them, but at least the fights are fun. So I was like, hey, you know what? Just for the sake of me finding something to do, playing the game, I started uploading the purgatory gates on the highest difficulty. So might as well. But yeah, today we're gonna do something different. Unfortunately, there's no official news about the DLC or anything, spicy just yet. We kind of do have a time frame for when that might happen, which is early 2026. And if I could, like, I would love to copium here and be like, yeah, we might see Ninja Gaiden's DLC be revealed during Game Awards, but considering the prices for trailers appearing at Game Awards, and considering that NG4 is already out, they kind of don't need to advertise it anymore. I don't think Platinum, Microsoft, or Team Ninja is willing to pay like $500,000 for like a 1 minute trailer for Game Awards. So I don't think we'll see it there. I think we'll just see like a rogue trailer drop for the DLCs. But yeah, again, not the focus. So fair warning. Um, my voice is still a little messed up. I will be doing a little bit of reading today here. Today we're doing the archives for the characters. I know Team Ninja's been posting them a little bit on Twitter, but they're like incomplete, like very much so. So I'm going to be reading out all the archives. Of course, there's going to be a little bit of pronunciation issues here and there, since I'm not a bot and English is not even my first language, so that's that. But yeah, I'll try my best to not make too many mistakes while reading this. And after the character archives, I'll do the enemy archives and I'll do the um, location archives that they have, and I'll do a compilation video afterwards, connecting some of the dots that the archives has put together. Because there is some stuff you can make a lot of sense of a whole bunch of info for the game because of the archives that the game doesn't touch upon because runtime. So yeah, let's get into it. And first and foremost, obviously, we get into it with Yakumo Boy, a ninja of the shadows. Yakumo, a young ninja and future successor to the Raven clan. Owing to his strict training regime since near early childhood, Yakumo has grown into the top Raven operative despite his young age. Rigorously honed in both body and mind, Yakumo is able to uh, deftly wield any variety of weapon, and his immaculate completion of numerous missions has others beginning to compare him to the legendary super ninja of the Hayabusa clan. So, he is by all means like he is what Ryu was in NG1. The current Yakumo was what Ryu was in NG1. Like, he's very renowned despite him being young and inexperienced. But in Yakumo's case, he's not really inexperienced. Due perhaps to his rigid upbringing, passion rarely presents itself in Yakumo's demeanor. That's ironic considering what happened with Seori in the story. But anyways, even in the heat of battle, allowing him to draw from his repertoire of secret techniques and unemotionally eliminate his targets. He values his clan's obligations and the duties assigned to him above all else, and approaches all situations with clear mind and calculated precision. The young Raven Ninja has even gained notoriety in the criminal world, with some vying to pay top dollars for his services, and others fearing him as death incarnate. One thing can be said for certain: Yakumo's abilities and performance have caught the eyes of many. So, yeah, and we'll get to Tyran later, but like Tyran is one of the biggest like showcases of this. Is like, yeah, Tyran is very like strict about his teachings and stuff, and he charges people a little bit too much to teach them. But he sees something in Yakumo. That's why he doesn't mind training Yakumo as much as he can and keep an eye on him. He still charges them a lot of money though. My old ninja coins. But yeah, the again, I will do a dive into these later because we truly do need to do dive into these. There's a lot of information. Anyways, on to Sayori, mysterious priestess of the Dark Dragon, a mysterious young woman who has joined forces with Yakumo and his companions. Pardon me. She is the latest inheritor of the title of the Dark Dragon Priestess, a role spoken of in legend alongside the dragon shrine maidens of the Hayabusa clan, Momoji, and oh gosh, I forgot her name. Not Irene. Oh my, what was Momoji's sister's name? I forgot. Also, I'm sure someone's gonna correct me in this. Yeah, I several years ago, she conspired with a powerful fiend to resurrect the Dark Dragon, Achilles, and in retribution, she was apprehended by the Divine Dragon Order and confined under strict surveillance. After relaying to Yakumo that the truth of the Raven Clan's prophecy, they agreed to work together to break the seal on the Dark Dragon and fulfill his clan's destiny. Still uncertain of new companion capabilities, she takes any opportunity she can to prod Yakumo and test his fortitude and dedication. She does tease him a lot throughout the game. Although knowledgeable in ancient traditions and rites, Seori has a mischievous side and is known to make light of tense situations. She is friendly towards the members of the Raven clan, but also occasionally evasive in conversation. Despite her proficiency with sealing magic and barriers, she is unskilled in combat and has only average physical abilities, forcing her to rely on Misaki to guard her throughout the travels. So this kind of actually makes me sad reading that last part because it kind of points out like, yeah, we're probably never going to get a playable Seori, which makes me sad because you guys know how badass Memoji is, especially in Ninja Gaiden 3, Razor's Edge. Um, yeah, it would have been cool to see her in like as a playable character, but that's not gonna happen because she's kind of worthless when it comes to combat. So that kind of also takes out the possibility of her being a character in a future DOA game. But she could always have a skin palette swap, right? Like you can probably wear her dress as Momoji, maybe. Momoji does have priestess dresses that resemble this. But yeah, that's Saori. And yeah, she does have a tendency to joke about matters when things are really dire. All right, Aizen. I'm sorry, Misaki. Trusted advisor of the Raven clan. A middle-aged gentleman assigned to Yakumo's unit. Misaki was beaten to the brink of death when fiends overrun Tokyo, following the attempt resurrection of the Dark Dragon in coincidental timing, but ultimately was rescued by the Raven clan. Yeah, sure. In gratitude, Misaki joined the clan as advisor and intelligence officer and utilizes his extensive knowledge of formulated this clan's operations. His tactical cunning has cemented his as a trusted asset despite his as yet short temper. Tenor? I don't know what that word means. New word. Write that down. Although he gained a permanent limp from his injuries, he still attends even the harshest of operations in person and is a master of combat with a cane. Ah, well, that makes that wow. Sayuri is an asshole then, because Misaki was climbing the mountain as fast as he could, yet they were still rushing him. I mean, he has a limp leg, man. Like, give him a break. That's kind of mean. Although I already got that. His kind and sensitive personality have given him a personal distaste for killing, but he acknowledges it as an inevitability for those who live the way of the ninja, and when required, will bloody his hands without question. Although he claims to do so only to repay his debt to Raven Clan, this devotion is just one of many reasons he commands such a respect among his peers. Oh wow, he has actually a very good backstory. That makes me even more sad that his character was not at all utilized or shown any of the respect he deserved. Despite this conversation here, this dialogue here. Yeah, that many of the flaws Ninja Gaiden 4 has, the story is its biggest so far, and like it's not even. I'm not even gonna. Let's not get into it. How about that? Let's not get into it. But yeah, it is a shame that most of the things we just read is not actually mentioned too much in the game during any of the dialogue. Actually, Umi, calm specialist of the Raven clan. She has a very interesting backstory and very dedicated. A young ninja who serves as the operations and communication specialist in Yakumo's unit. Close friend with Yakumo since youth, she is a skilled expert in her field, known for her ability to execute missions with precision and efficiency. An essential contributor to the Raven clan's endeavors, she is capable of hacking security systems and providing supplies through a system she modified herself, which is the Dark Raven Terminal, I think it's called. After experiencing the devastating loss of a unit member in the past operation, she has buried herself in various fields of study with a keen focus on ensuring her unit's survival. Again, very, very cool backstory for her. Kind of sad too, but it's kind of adorable. She takes her duties extremely seriously and dedicates her entire self to the completion of the mission. Perhaps due to her young age, irregularities occasionally cause her to lose her nerve, but her natural compatibility with Yakumo has given her a strong reputation with the clan. She generally refuses to show her own face, instead chooses to represent herself with an avatar of her own creation, which is a penguin, which I know a lot of people were set aback to have such a cute creature in a Ninja Gaiden series. But hey, Ayane and Momoji are there, so as far as cute creatures go, they fit the bill. Didn't see anyone complain about that. Ha! But yeah, Umi is because like, she is a short temper and she's kind of scared of like ghosts and all that, which is ironic considering what Yakumo fights all the time. But yeah, like the only reason why she doesn't get temporary with Yakumo is because Yakumo doesn't say much, right? It's pretty serious all the time, too serious, if anything. Yeah. Now to my arguably favorite character or favorite newcomer in NG4, Tyran, martial master of the Raven Clan, a ninja of the Raven Clan who always seems to be on the move. Tyran holds a unique position in the clan and belongs to no particular unit. Often acting alone, he has trained himself to mastery in all forms of martial arts and is assigned to missions too difficult for other members of the clan. Thanks to his extraordinary combat capabilities, he also bears the responsibility of eliminating those who break the strict code of the Raven Clan, which is always complete the mission. So I have to put a pause there. Tyran is too badass for what he is in the game, and I can promise you, when the DLC drops, Tyran is the boss you have to defeat to get the scythe, get the new weapon. If there's anything else to it, then I will be severely disappointed. Um, very, very many keywords here. You know, he's in a unique position at the clan that belongs to no particular unit. He is a nomad technically. He is on his own. He solos missions. Even Yakumo, with all his capabilities and all his renownedness of like being a prodigy, young prodigy, he doesn't do such a thing. He is with Umi. He does have backup, and Tyrants watching over him sometimes too, especially with important missions. But yeah, when it comes to himself, he partakes missions alone. Right? He is a certified Raven Clan badass. He has trained himself to mastery in all forms of martial art and has assigned to missions too difficult for other members of the clan, thanks to his extraordinary combat capability. So he is self-taught in almost every martial art. So martial arts in Ninja Gaiden usually resorts to hand-to-hand combat and mastery of weapons. And when they specifically say mastery in all forms of martial arts, that probably means that he's a master of all the weapons, kind of like Ryu. So to people, and I said this on Twitter too. I said I think if NG4 came out and Tyran was the main protagonist of the Raven Clan and Ryu was Ryu, people would have liked it much more than Yakumo. Um, and I agree too. I would, of course, personally, I would agree. It's my own statement, of course, but I think that Tyran would have fit the criteria of Ninja Gaiden so much more. I mean, even Yaiba falls in line with Tyran and Ryu when it comes to the protag. So, but maybe that was the point. Maybe they just wanted to do something very different. But Tyran is, by all means, too badass for him to just be a vendor. So most likely, again, he is the boss fight you have to beat to get new weapons. Maybe if you beat it with Yakumo, you get the scythe, and if you beat it with Ryu, you get the new weapon. But hopefully, I'm wrong, and Tyran is a boss that you have to beat multiple times, and you get different weapons, multiple different weapons. Anyways, we get sidetracked. Though often blunt and overbearing, he cares deeply for others and takes it upon himself to personally coach younger ninjas with untapped potential. These lessons are rarely free, however, and his unabashed fondness for coins has given him repetition as well. Intentions. Let's scroll down. Intention miser. Well intentioned miser. Okay, there we go. Sorry. Tyran seems to give particular attention to Yakumo, frequently challenging him to with rigorous training drills, of course. In Tyran's eyes, Yakumo has the potential to grow into one of the greatest ninjas the world has ever seen, and quietly relishes watching his development. So it's kind of like Joe and Muramasa watching Ryu grow up and like be like, yeah, this guy right here is going to be something. And Ryu did. Ryu is the super ninja. Ryu has always been the strongest in the verse. That's one of the problems NG has always had, is that nothing's stronger than Ryu. So often, speaking of fucking which, often Ryu ends up becoming his own enemy in either a clone fight or, the grip of murder nonsense, or in any way. Every game has always had something similar to Ryu fighting Ryu. In the first game, pardon me, in the first game, you had the clone fight, the muscle armor clones that you fight randomly, well, not randomly, but they appear a lot depending on what difficulty you play as well. And in three, it was his Nightmare Awakened, which is the grip of murder version of him. And in two, he doesn't fight himself because Genshin's there to be his rival. But yeah, it's like he fucking dogged on Genshin pretty much every time. So yeah, like Ryu has always been top dog. So Yakumo is probably going to be the top dog of the Raven clan eventually. But the way they're setting this up is that Yakumo is what Ryu was, possibly even better. At like if you compare NG4 Yakumo with NG1 Ryu, Yakumo is probably a little bit stronger, a little bit more efficient. I think he might be a little bit older as well. Well, actually, I think we don't know how old Yakumo is, but Ryu was 22, I think, in the events of NG1. So yeah, like he might be a little bit either on par or stronger, but technically both of them kind of died. Doku killed Goku. Doku killed Goku. Doku killed Ryu in the first game, and Ryu came back and took none of that shit. And Yakumo almost died at the end of 4. If it wasn't because of all the power ups like Ryu and Seori and everybody else gave him, he would have most likely died at the hand of the Dark Dragon. So yeah. Anyways, just setting up a premise of like, yeah, by the Yakumo is gonna be like Ryu's tier, but unless Ryu freezes in time, Yakumo is never gonna reach Ryu's level. Ryu is always going to be decades ahead of him because of their age gap and experience. So, he's never gonna be Ryu, but he's gonna be as strong as Ryu once was. That's pretty much the premise they're setting up. Anyways, before I lose my voice, let's finish this up. Ryu Hayabusa, Master Ninja of the Hayabusa clan. Master Ninja of the Hayabusa clan and the leader of the Hayabusa clan now. The black-clad leader of the Hayabusa clan. Oh, okay, it actually does mention it. I thought it was a lost lore. But yeah, Joe is dead. Ryu is the head of the clan now. Ryu belongs to the dragon lineage, a bloodline destined to fight against evil since ancient times, and has eradicated countless villains and fiends over the years. A master of the Hayabusa style of ninjutsu, his physical capabilities far surpass those of normal human, in earning him the the moniker of Super Ninja. Oh yeah, the voice is gone. In battle, he wields the Dragon Sword, a blade passed down through the dragon lineage for generations, combined with the Eye of the Dragon, a sacred jewel granted to him by his childhood friend Kureha. Kureha was fucking Momoja's sister. Thank you. The blade now displays its full power, transforming into the true Dragon Sword. With this legendary blade in hand, Ryu has purged the encroaching forces of evil and saved the world time and time again. Time and time and time and time of fucking again. Every game. After hearing of Cyrus' disappearance, he takes up arms with Kagachi to chase after her and Yakumo. With the fate of the world at stake, Ryu challenges the young ninja in combat to test his resolve and skills, ultimately entrusting him with the purification of the Dark Dragon. So, to all the I'm gonna use a nice word here because every word in my brain right now is written insulting. To all the skeptical people that said like, oh, you lost to Yakumo. It's like, no, my guy, as the cutscene shows, as the events point towards, and as the literal fucking dialogue here says, he challenges Yakumo to test his resolve and skill, ultimately entrusting him with the purification of the Dark Dragon. Ryu could have, by all means, gone up ahead and killed the fucking thing again. it would have been no problem with him since he's killed it already 3 times. Although I can recall what was the other one of them. I can't recall. I can't recall one of them. The first one was the Dragon Sword, the events of Dragon Sword. Second one, I have no idea what it would be. And third time, I have no idea what it would be. I think it's the NES games. I'm not sure about that though. Actually, I'm not sure about that at all. Um, yeah, I know they have said in the game that he has killed it 3 times. Killed the Dark Dragon 3 times. I can only recall one, unfortunately. So it would be great if he actually gets some solid information on the other two, because the second time he killed the Dark Dragon might be in NG2, and like I mean very vaguely NG2 because the Black Dragon that pops up in chapter, it's Heart of Darkness. I forgot what chapter it was. I think it was 13. It's called Heart of Darkness. In that chapter, a dark dragon does spawn from like Elizabeth tosses it pretty much. It's like, yeah, go kill Ryu. It's the fucking monster on one where you cut off the tail. That one is by all means a dark dragon, but it's not the same dark dragon we see. So if Ryu killed it a second time, that might be it. And if that was a dark dragon and Ryu killed it like that, then holy shit, like dark dragon is not an issue for Ryu out ever. Anyways, moving on. We get 2 more. Here we go. This one is very important because it hints at a lot of things to happen in the future later too. Ayane, bewitching flower of the darkness, a kunoichi belonging to the Hajin moon branch of the Mugen Tenshin ninja clan. Famed as a prodigy from a young age, as always, as literally all of them are, she has successfully carried out countless missions, highly capable of espionage, diplomacy, and combat. Her acrobatic grace and agility on the battlefield make her untouchable to even the most powerful of fiends. Untouchable to even the most powerful of fiends. Like, untouchable is a big word. She has grown to deeply respect Ryu Hayabusa, and they frequently collaborate. In the years following the Dark Dragon incident, she has assumed the role of shadow mediator to quickly identify emerging crises in the city of Tokyo and provide invaluable support to both Ryu and the citizenry. Under Ryu's direction, and very fucking important here because the game does not hint at it, and people, throwing a lot of accusations. Like, no, Ayane was watching Yakumo the whole time. That was her objective. Ryu told him to watch over Yakumo because I need to know what the fuck's going on with this kid and make sure he doesn't die. But yeah, under Ryu's direction, she sets out to investigate Yakumo and his motives. Regarded as a young prodigy, just as she herself was, Ayane seems to have taken a personal interest in him, observing from the shadows as he continued his mission. So, the two encounters there, and after the game finishes, Ayane actually does give you missions to find her kunais throughout the game again. Whether they're canon or not, I don't know, but Ayane does help Yakumo out in more ways than one, in game mechanically and outside the game. But yeah, under direct instructions from Ryu, that Ryu told her to, like, hey, this kid might be an issue, or he might be the solution. Uh-oh, voice is gone. He might be the solution to the Dark Dragon problem. I might need some water. Pardon me for a second. I wish I could stop recording and resume it, but I do not have the skills required for that. I gotta learn some editing skills. But let me drink some water here. Pardon me. But yeah, Ryu told Ayane to keep an eye out on Yakumo. And that's important, because again, one, Ayane is very distinctively designed. So the chances of her being playable or having her own unique missions is very likely. And I, for one, cannot wait to play as Ayane in G4. That would be amazing. Now, I've read this before, but Kagachi's role is very important, and his backstory is also very important. I'll try my best to read this through. Whew. Kagachi, Grand General of the DDO, the top leader of the military branch of the Divine Dragon Order, the organization that currently rules over Tokyo. Although somewhat jaded, he has a strong sense of justice and shows no mercy to the wicked. Originally a mercenary, he lost an arm in the past campaign, but his skills and dexterity are so exponential that he continues to stand among the best. His ability in swordsmanship has been compared to Ryu Hayabusa, and they fought alongside one another when Tokyo was overrun with fiends. This is before the events of NG4. This is when Achilles popped up and Seori was forced to undo the seal. He nearly lost his life in an attempt to subdue a demon to serve as warden to one of the Dark Dragon seals, and only survived by using his own body as a vessel to imprison it. So the reason why his arm turns into that fiend, the demon arm, is because he has a demon trapped in him. So by all means, he is a demon himself. He's a half demon now because of that. I don't know if the demon's still there because Yakumo got off his arm, but it will be interesting if he still has it in him. Let's do it. Now, carrying the creature inside him, Kagachi has become a half demon, able to utilize the demonic power at will to materialize his severed arm, which happens in the boss fight. And again, like Kagachi is a force. Like he's very strong. He's very renowned. He's again not Ryu tier, but like his swordsmanship is good enough for them to be like, yeah, he's like Ryu. He's like he can compare their skills. So big things. I would love to say more, but I feel like I need to reserve right now. I think that's it actually. Yeah, that was it. So actually, since that was the last one, let's talk. Kagachi was also again, I've talked about this in my Could Yakumo Beat Ryu video, but Kagachi is very skilled. And initially, he was going to take out Yakumo until. And Yakumo would have died. Like Kagachi would have absolutely killed Yakumo. Like, he would have demolished him in the first mission uh, if Sayori didn't interfere. And I think the reason why she did interfere was because of that. Because the sense of justice that they talk about, that he has a very strong sense of justice and shows no mercy to the wicked. Yakumo, by all means, was a wicked being in front of him because he's trying to kidnap the priestess that's protecting the world practically. So Kagachi would have killed him on the spot, and Sayori recognized that, hey, I don't think Yakumo has this, so I'm gonna just interfere with the flashbang. Which I don't know why Kagachi got caught off guard by that, but whatever. How did she even get the flashbang? Whatever, doesn't matter. So, but yeah, and throughout the game, Kagachi is a big threat to Yakumo. After Kagachi puts two and two together, it's like, oh, it's not an abduction, it's an escape. He calls up Ryu and it's like, hey, like Sayori willingly left for some reason. And Ryu says, all right, I'm on my way, I'll see see what's up. And then, I would assume that's when Ryu tells Ayane, it's like, hey, we might have a threat on our hand. So let's see what's going on. So till mission 6, till Ryu confronted Yakumo and beat his ass effortlessly, and then Sayori has to step in again to save Yakumo's ass. Ryu was like, oh, if you're saving this kid, if you're protecting this kid, that means this might be the hope we have to purify the dragon and get rid of it once and for all. So Ryu stops being hostile towards Yakumo after that. And he instead watches over him, makes sure he doesn't mess up anymore, and Ayane is doing the same thing when Ryu's busy doing other things. Because there are fiends overrunning the city. So, Ryu always has to be on cleanup duty. Kagachi always has to be on cleanup duty. And I assume Ayane would be too, but Ayane got assigned to babysitting Yakumo. So, and again, throughout the game, all the characters always emphasize that, oh shit, Kagashi's there. Yakumo, are you going to be alright? And Yakumo's like, yeah, he doesn't scare me. I don't care. Like, whatever. Poof. Whatever. But by all means, if Yakumo was underprepared and not motivated enough, Kagachi would have absolutely cut him down. So like Kagachi is would be above Yakumo in tier, and like Kagachi again didn't want to kill him because when Kagachi was standing between him and the final altar, he knew Sayori and Misaki were there, and he knew what was coming. He could have just waited there to just capture Sayori, and that's it, done with it. But he instead tested Yakumo. So again, the story of NG4 is one of the most depressing things because they do not elaborate on any of these wonderful plot points. Instead, it's up to you to just keep watching the cutscenes like I've done over and over again, read all this and connect the dots. And we have so many more dots to connect because the enemies are still there and the enemies have a lot of bio. Hopefully by then my voice is completely back so I can actually talk without dying. But that being said, I'll chop this off for now. And I'm begging you all, if you guys have any type of theory crafting that makes sense and it's not headcanon, like it's actually connected to the game, um, lay it on me in the comments because the game is fresh. We need to actually connect some dots here. We need to actually put two and two together. So if you guys have any theories, write it down. Do not be afraid. Just write it down, and we'll see what we can do with it. And again, that being said, as always, thank you for being patient with me because I don't know why this year has been so rough on my throat. Oh god. Um, but I hit 3K subs because of all you guys, and I'm not gonna be one of those YouTubers that's gonna upload like once a month and like disappear for like a year and then come back. No, I'm gonna make steady content if I'm not physically dying. So with that said, again, thank you for helping me hit 3K subscribers. I'll keep updating the game and when it comes to like information or like anything like that. So just stay tuned. I'll try to upload the gameplay as well. But I've been trying to catch up to all the other games I neglected for 1 week. So yeah, it's been taking it out on me. And soon the Warhammer, the Space Marines update comes out, so I gotta tackle that. Some cool stuff in there. But anyways, I hope you enjoyed the video. Let me know if you want me to do less yapping and more reading in between, so that I just like read the whole thing without saying anything. Like I know some people just like, just like no sugarcoating, nothing, just like A to B, and just that's it. So if you want me to just read it and shut my mouth and just continue reading it and maybe at the end of the video talk about stuff, I can do that. But I need some feedback to see what you guys liked the process to be. So if you want me to add details in the middle to make it a little bit more informative, that's fine with me. If you want me to shut up and just read it out and I'll just add my bullshit at the end, which you're not interested in, that's also fine. I can change the format. So let's see which one we like more. Anyways, that being said, I'm gonna go drink some tea. You guys take care. Have a great day.